Hey guys, this is Sonali, the Melodramatic Bookworm. Welcome back to my channel. I am here today with a video that I'm going to embarrass myself with, because as a book hoarder I have so many books on my TBR that I really have to put it out there in the public for all of you to see so that I can do something about it, which is why I went on a book buying ban. If you haven't already seen that video, then please go ahead and watch it. I'll leave a link here as well as in the description box below. I am on a book ban from the 1st of January to the 31st of March 2020 because I have so many books on my TBR that I'm literally drowning in them, as you'll see. But before I show you all the books that are on my TBR, let me just say that I make book related videos on this channel and occasionally a few travel related and a few movie related videos as well. So if you like what you see and you would like to keep up with my content, then don't forget to hit subscribe and click on the bell icon so that you can stay updated, and I would love to hear your thoughts about my channel. So at the moment I have about 341 books on my TBR, and that is not counting the books that I had trimmed last year from my TBR. I think I removed about 58 books from my TBR at that point in time, and still it has come up to 341 because of my book buying tendencies, which is why I've had to take drastic measures and go on a book buying ban so that I can at least bring it down to under 300 before buying any more books. Does that make sense? But for a book hoarder like me, it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal that I am actually on this book buying ban. But since there are quite a few books that I will be showing you in this video, I won't be talking anything about them. I'm just going to share the book. So without further ado, let's get into this video and let's embarrass me and let me show you all the books that are on my TBR. A quick disclaimer: if you find that books are going missing here as I'm talking about them, it means that I took them out to show you and then I'm putting it back in. Being Reshma by Reshma Qureshi and Tanya Singh, Siddhartha by Herman Hesse, An Era of Darkness by Shashi Tharoor, Mera Mera by Cara Delevingne, Miss Leila Armed and Dangerous by Manu Joseph, Small Days and Nights by Tishani Doshi, The Moment of Lift by Melinda Gates, Fight Like a Girl by Clementine Ford, 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I was supposed to have read this last year but I did not. The Odyssey by Homer, The Grisha Trilogy by Lee Bardugo. This has 3 books, obviously trilogy, 3 books. Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, and Ruin and Rising. I was also supposed to have read this last year, but I obviously did not. Roar and Lyrebird by Cecilia Ahern. The Astonishing Color of After by Emily Exar Pan. Holding by Graham Norton. Othello by William Shakespeare. All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. Elena Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. Avarna the Veil by S.L. Bhairappa. The Tattooist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris. Down Under by Bill Bryson. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, Unaccustomed Earth by Jhumpal Lahiri, Less by Andrew Sean Greer, Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, Latitudes of Longing by Shubhangi Swaroop, Milk Teeth by Amrita Mahale, The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I just have the first book in the series. I need to get the second and third because I don't know if the fourth one is coming out this year. I don't really remember. Heads You Win by Jeffrey Archer, Black Leopard Red Wolf by Marlon James, Thanks for the Memories and The Gift by Cecilia Ahern, Star Wars Before the Awakening by Greg Rucka, Lost Stars by Claudia Gray. This is a Star Wars book as well. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I was supposed to have read it last year but I did not. So it's still on my TBR. The first 3 in the Ember Quartet, which are An Ember in the Ashes, A Torch Against the Night, and A Reaper at the Gates by Sabaa Tahir. The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out of the Window and Disappeared, and The Accidental Further Adventures of the 100-Year-Old Man by Jonas Jonasson. 302 by Mainak Dhar, Harun and the Sea of Stories, and Luca and the Fire of Life by Salman Rushdie. Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Eddo-Lodge. Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. These 2 are on the 20 books that I want to read in 2020 list. The Island and The Return by Victoria Hislop. A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. Sleeping Beauties by Stephen and Owen King. The 40 Rules of Love by Elif Shafak. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. The His Dark Materials trilogy by Philip Pullman. It has 3 books: Northern Lights, The Subtle Knife, and The Amber Spyglass. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. The Snowman by Joan Nesbo. Elena and Park by Rainbow Rowell, The Husband's Secret by Layan Moriarty, Maggie and Me by Damien Barr, Mohanaswamy by Vasudhendra and translated from the Kannada by Rashmi Terdal, The Music of Solitude by Krishna Sopti, translated from the Hindi by Vasudha Dalmia, Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is the first in the series and the other two are also out, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Hollow City and Library of Souls, the second and third in the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series by Ransom Driggs, The Marble Collector and The Year I Met You by Cecilia Ahern, The History of Love by Nicole Krauss, On the Road by Jack Kerouac, Daddy's Gone A-Hunting by Mary Higgins Clark, The White Tiger by Arvind Adiga, Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, My Husband and Other Animals by Janaki Lenin, How I Became a Farmer's Wife by Yashodhara Lal, The Vintage Teacup Club and The Seafront Tea Rooms by Vanessa Green, Narcopolis by Jeet Thile, Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. I was supposed to have read this last year, but I did not, obviously. And the sequel to Sapiens, Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow by Yuval Noah Harari, The Stranger by Harlan Coben, Seeing Like a Feminist by Nivedita Menon, The Adivasi Will Not Dance by Hansda Sauvendra Shekhar, Hippie by Paulo Coelho, The Millennium Trilogy, which is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest, and The Girl Who Played with Fire by Stieg Larsson, Shantaram by Gregory David Roberts, The Martian by Andy Weir, The Red House by Mark Haddon, 44 Scotland Street and Espresso Tales by Alexander McCall Smith, Don Quixote by Cervantes, Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee, Behold America by Sarah Churchwell, The Sense of an Ending by Julian Barnes, Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen, The Versions of Us by Laura Barnett, The 11th Commandment by Jeffrey Archer, Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, Exit West by Mohsin Hamid, Uncommon Type by Tom Hanks, All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater, Why I Am a Hindu by Shashi Tharoor, The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock by Imogen Hermes Gowar, Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin, The Lost Continent and Neither Here Nor There by Bill Bryson, Swing Time by Zadie Smith, Sita and Illustrated Retelling of the Ramayana by Devdutt Patnaik, The Lollipop Shoes by Joanne Harris, Ninth House by Lee Bardugo, What We Talk About When We Talk About Rape by Sohail Abdulali, Your Truth or Mine by Trisha Saklecha, No Presents Please by Jayant Kaikini, The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware, Wilder Girls by Rory Power, Faithful by Alice Hoffman, The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes, Vox by Christina Dalsher, I don't know how it's pronounced, Christina Dalcher. Still Me by Jojo Moyes, The Silent Companions by Laura Purcell, Sing Unburied Sing by Jasmine Ward, A Short History of Nearly Everything by Bill Bryson, Bear Town by Frederick Backman, We Are All Completely Beside Ourselves by Karen Joy Fowler, An American Marriage by Tayari Jones, The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith, The Empire of the Mughal, The Serpent's Tooth by Alex Rutherford. This is the fifth in this series. I have read the first four, I'm yet to read this one. Joseph Anton, A Memoir by Salman Rushdie, If You See Me Now by Cecilia Ahern, The Storyteller by Jodi Picoult, The Complete Fiction of H.P. Lovecraft, The Poison of Love by K.R. Meera, Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, Men Without Women by Haruki Murakami, The Liberation of Sita by Volga and translated from the Telugu by T. Vijay Kumar and C. Vijayashree, Mohammed bin Tughlaq, Tale of a Tyrant by Anuja Chandramouli, Wasted, The Messy Story of Sanitation in India, A Manifesto for Change by Ankur Bisen, Desire by Haruki Murakami, 1,000 Perfect Notes by C.G. Drews, No Regrets, The Guilt-Free Woman's Guide to a Good Life by Kaveri Bamzai, Wild Embers by Nikita Gill, Erotic Stories for Punjabi Widows by Balikaur Jaswal, The Girl with the Lower Back Tattoo by Amy Schumer, Bossy Pants by Tina Fey, The Sellout by Paul Beatty, Silka's Journey by Heather Morris. This is the sequel to The Tattooist of Auschwitz, Make Time, How to Focus on What Matters Every Day by Jake Knapp and John Zeratsky, To Kill a Mockingbird, the graphic novel by Harper Lee and illustrated by Fred Fordham, The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins, Bone China by Laura Purcell, Something Fresh by P.G. Wodehouse, Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery, Cartas Postales from Greece by Victoria Hislop, Frankly in Love by David Yoon, Bookworm, A Memoir of Childhood Reading by Lucy Mangan, Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear by Elizabeth Gilbert, My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologizes by Frederick Backman, Calypso by David Sedaris, 52 Red Pills, A New Age Playbook to Become Healthy, Wealthy and Wise by Aika and Siddharth Banerjee, The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, Christmas Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella, Reasons to Stay Alive by Matt Haig. I am about 152 pages in at the time of shooting and I will finish this by the time you see this video. Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. John Keats selected poems by John Keats. David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. Three Wishes and The Last Anniversary. This is an omnibus sort of book, and this is by Liane Moriarty. Marker by Robin Cook. Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. The Bone Supremacy and The Bone Ultimatum by Robert Ludlum. So these next books I either don't have access to at the moment, or I have only ebooks of, so I will put up the covers over here. So let's go. Emma by Jane Austen, and then I have 3 books by John le Carre: The Secret Pilgrim, The Constant Gardener, The Russia House. Silas Marner by George Eliot. 100 Selected Stories by O. Henry. No Country for Old Men by Cormac McCarthy. Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. 8 books by Jodi Picoult. Picture Perfect, Second Glance, Mercy, Songs of the Humpback Whale, Keeping Faith, Sing You Home, Vanishing Acts, Harvesting the Heart, The Memory Keeper's Daughter by Kim Edwards, To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, The Whiteacre Trilogy by Philippa Gregory, Rearming Hinduism by Vamsi Juluri, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou, Last Train to Istanbul by Aisha Kulin, Midnight's Children by Salman Rushdie, Last Mughal by William Dalrymple, Jaya by Devdutt Patnaik, The Great Indian Novel by Shashi Tharoor, Lanka's Princess by Kavita Kane, Yachna Seni by Pratibha Ray, Aunt Anna Was a Nutcase by Ranjit Lal, The Help by Catherine Stockett, An Unquiet Mind by K. Redfield Jamison, The House That BJ Built by Anuja Chauhan, Godan by Munshi Premchand, The Sisterhood by Helen Bryan, The Color of Secrets by Lindsay Jane Ashford, The Secret Diary of Kasturba by Nilima Dalmia Adhar, The Rose of Sarajevo by Aisha Kulin, The Betty Davis Club by Jane Lotter, Saving April by Sarah A. Denzel, Agatha Christie, an autobiography by Agatha Christie, The Seventh Canon by Robert Dugoni, The First Five in the Tracy Cross White series by Robert Dugoni, Silent Child by Sarah A. Denzel, The Good Neighbor by A.J. Banner, Wreckage by Emily Bleeker, Trail of Broken Wings by Sejal Badani, The Lord of the Rings trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien, and The Hobbit by the same author, J.R.R. Tolkien, Chocolate by Joanne Harris, Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom, Lean In, Women, Work and the Will to Lead by Sheryl Sandberg, Coma by Robin Cook, 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher, 12 Years a Slave by Solomon Northup, Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston, It by Stephen King, Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris, Surfacing by Margaret Atwood, Our Moon Has Blood Clots by Rahul Pandita, The Shining by Stephen King, For Whom the Bell Tolls by Ernest Hemingway, Fallen Skies by Philippa Gregory, The Color of Water in July by Nora Carroll, Origin by Dan Brown, 0 to 1 Notes on Startups or How to Build the Future by Peter Thiel, Room by Emma Donoghue, The Pelican Brief by John Grisham, Ben-Hur by Lewis Wallace, Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, The Broken Ones by Sarah A. Denzel, The Big Switch, It's Never Too Late by John Thomas, Beneath a Scarlet Sky by Mark Sullivan, Three Daughters by Consuelo Saber. I think it's pronounced that way, I'm not sure. The first and second in the Everything series by Kerry Lonsted, Bloodline by Claudia Gray, Crisis by Robin Cook, Sons of Fortune by Jeffrey Archer, The Ground Beneath Her Feet by Salman Rushdie, The Iliad by Homer, The Book of Chocolate Saints by Jeet Thayil, Salt by Daniel Ellison, A Horse Walks into a Bar by David Grossman, Harvest by Jim Crace, Long Way Down by Ewan McGregor and Charlie Boorman, Sea Glass by Anita Shrev, A Spot of Bother by Mark Haddon, Too Close to Home by Susan Lewis, Memoirs of a Geisha by Arthur Golden, Her Fearful Symmetry by Audrey Niffenegger, 2 books by Marianne Keyes, The Woman Who Stole My Life and The Other Side of the Story, Peaches for Monsieur Le Cure by Joanne Harris, Starter for 10 by David Nichols, Phenomena by Martin Sixsmith, 2 books by Bill Bryson, Notes from a Small Island and Notes from a Big Country, Renegades, the first in the Renegade series by Marissa Meyer, the third through the fifth in the Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin, The 1,000-Year-Old Boy by Ross Welford, The Wonder by Emma Donoghue, Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman, Moth Smoke by Mohsin Hamid, Black Beauty by Anna Sewell, The Food Taster by Peter Elbling, Grease on My Wheels by Edward Enfield, The Rosie Project by Graham Simpson, The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, Born a Crime by Trevor Noah, Hello Buster by Rahul Pandita, Dera Sacha Sauda by Anurag Tripathi, Birds of Prey by Wilbur Smith, The Horse Whisperer by Nicholas Evans, Tess of the D'Urbervilles by Thomas Hardy, Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare, Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor, On Hinduism by Wendy Doniger, The Mistress of Spices by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni, The Household Guide to Dying by Deborah Adelaide, Vampire Labyrinth by G.P. Taylor, Made in America by Bill Bryson, The Century Trilogy by Ken Follett, Child 44 by Tom Rob Smith, And the Mountains Echoed by Khaled Hosseini, The Improbability of Love by Hannah Rothschild, The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer, State of Fear by Michael Crichton, Oedipus the Play by Sophocles, I think that's how it's pronounced, not sure. The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri, American Gods by Neil Gaiman, The Incredulity of Father Brown by G.K. Chesterton, The First Phone Call from Heaven by Mitch Albom, and For One More Day by the same author, The History of the Decline and the Fall of the Roman Empire by Edward Gibbon, Hotel by Arthur Haley, Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells, The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, I Am the Messenger by Marcus Zusak, Sleeping on Jupiter by Anuradha Roy, Lion by Saru Brearley, The Revenant by Michael Punk, Mistress by Anita Nair, The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry by Rachel Joyce, Tides Don't Cross by Simar Malhotra, The Fix by David Baldacci, The Low Line by Jhumpa Lahiri, I, Robot by Isaac Asimov, On Beauty by Zadie Smith, I See You by Claire McIntosh, The King of Mathura Part 2 by Sharat Komaraju, The Great Derangement, Climate Change and the Unthinkable by Amitav Ghosh. Whew. My throat is dry by talking so much. I mean, I have an hour's footage now from showing you all the books, and it's going to be I'm going to have a great time editing this video, but okay. So those were all the books that are on my TBR. You can actually hear my throat become scratchy. But those are all the books that are on my TBR. Which of these have you read? Which ones do you want to read? Which ones are also on your TBR? Which ones do you want to buy? Which ones do you love? Which ones do you not like? Which ones do you hate? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, please like it and share to spread the word. And if you like my content and would like to see more from me, don't forget to hit subscribe and click on the bell icon beside the subscribe button to get notified as and when I post new videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, keep reading, keep watching, and add melodrama to your life.